The Machinery of Rebellion, Cassian Andor and the Tragedy of Resistance. Tony Gilroy's Andor continues to strip the glamour from rebellion and lay bare the quiet brutality of empire. In the first 3 episodes of Season 2, the show draws from the deep wells of historical cruelty and idealistic resistance, offering a view of power that is chilling in its familiarity. Rather than simply telling a story about Star Wars, Andor gives a slow, deliberate portrait of how systems of control harden into violence and how even under pressure, some people choose to fight back. 3 core arcs define these opening episodes. 1. Bureaucratic genocide. In Andor Season 2, the first arc, the Empire's true evil is laid bare. It kills not through passion, but through bureaucracy. Krennic's meeting on the fate of the Gormans mirrors the Wannsee Conference of 1942, where Nazi officials methodically planned the extermination of Jews in sterile, administrative terms. No screams, no rage, no notes, only polite conversation. And this casual tone of annihilation highlights Hannah Ardent's idea of the banality of evil. Monstrous acts committed by people who hide behind procedure. Language becomes the first weapon of domination. Wittgenstein said, "The limits of my language mean the limits of my world." And the Empire's control over meaning is absolute. The Gormans are rebranded as selfish isolationists. The destruction of a planet becomes an energy solution. Language reshapes reality until genocide seems like simple maintenance. This is not distant history. The Third Reich perfected propaganda to dehumanize Jews, Roma, and political dissidents. So did colonial powers who redefined resistance as terrorism and indigenous rights as insurrection. In Andor, Tony Gilroy forces the audience to see how evil is always dressed in the language of necessity. 2. The struggle of rebel factions. In Andor, resistance is neither clean nor unified. Small factions emerge, each with different motivations. Some fight because of personal loss. Some resist because the Empire has made their survival impossible. Some, like the crew on Ferrix, act because they are simply pushed too far to remain passive. This realism stands in contrast to myths of coordinated, glorious uprisings. Real rebellions are messy. The Algerian National Liberation Front in the 1950s, fighting French colonialism, was made of fractured cells, often divided on ideology and tactics. The Arab Revolt during the First World War, or even the Haitian Revolution in the 1790s, was a patchwork of alliances barely held together. Betrayals were common, trust was rare. They were messy, factionalized, and even plagued by internal distrust. In Andor, rebel factions mirror this historical reality. The rebels all want the Empire defeated, but they disagree violently about the methods. Cooperation is unstable, trust is rare, betrayal is routine. Revolution, the show reminds us, is a messy process built by imperfect people. 3. Cassian's personal war. Cassian Andor stands at the center of this broken world. His ability to inspire is real. When he convinces Nia to betray the Empire, he speaks with the voice of someone who believes in freedom. "You made this decision long ago," he tells her, appealing to a truth she already knows. In that moment, he seems like a liberator. But in truth, he's a manipulator. Nia, while empowered, becomes another pawn in a larger machine. Her courage will likely cost her everything, and Cassian knows it. The show refuses to moralize, and that's what I love about it. Cassian's ability to inspire is real, but it's also tactical. He needs a TIE fighter, and he knows how to get it. Inspiration and manipulation sit side by side without contradiction, forcing Cassian to use the tools of his enemies to defeat them. And Frantz Fanon, psychotherapist and political theorist, warned that colonial violence warps both the oppressor and the oppressed. Cassian's personal war already stains him. His hands are not clean and will never be clean again. And there is a bitter irony to this journey. Cassian fights believing rebellion will save his soul, but we already know his fate. Cassian will become a disposable asset, a tool for victory erased by the very cause he serves. He will die anonymously, another nameless gear in the rebellion's machine. And like Nia, his dreams, his sacrifices and his humanity will be reduced to a footnote in history. Luthen understands this cost. His monologue about giving up everything, comfort, morality, and even his identity, reveals the true price of revolution. Cassian still hopes to come home to himself. Luthen knows there's no place for him there. And in a single line, Cassian believes rebellion saves the self. Luthen knows it erases it. Tony Gilroy made clear that Andor draws not from one era but across thousands of years of human history. Empires always justify themselves, and rebels are always branded as terrorists first. Peace is the rare exception, not the rule. And Hegel observed that the only thing we learn from history is that we do not learn from history. Time is a flat circle, and Andor is not warning of a coming darkness. It is showing how easily the darkness reasserts itself. Every era has its Gormans. Every generation faces choices, compliance or resistance.